full throttle prayer. In Genesis, he spoke the universe. He holds the 7 seas in the palm of his hand. Exodus, he split the sea and annihilated the most powerful army on the face of the planet. Numbers, the earth swallowed up Moses' enemies because he prayed. Joshua said, sun, stand still, and it stood still. King Solomon prayed for wisdom, and God answered his prayer overwhelmingly. Elisha called down fire from heaven. Elisha, his protege, raised the dead to life. Ezra brought back worship to Israel because they prayed. Nehemiah, what did Nehemiah do? He overcame all obstacles and rebuilt the wall. Job even said, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. Man of prayer, petitioning God. Hezekiah, this one blows my mind. Hezekiah came to God and he prayed. And you know what God did? The death angel flew over the entire Assyrian army of 185,000. That's a Rose Bowl filled twice. I don't know who you know, but the God I pray to can go like this, and 185,000 can fall. That's why he said 100 of you will what? Put 10,000 to flight when you're filled with the Spirit of God, when you're filled with that passionate prayer. Psalm said, he who guards Israel will never sleep. He will never slumber. Hey, where does your help come from? Look to the hills. That's where my help comes from. This is the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He inclines his ear to the broken hearted. Can you picture that? God actually is that a cry? Is that a cry I hear of desperation? I run to weakness. I run to the prayers of my people who are weak and say, God, we need you. Psalm says that they cried in their trouble and he heard them and he delivered them from their destruction. Listen, folks, ask him. Ask him. If Jesus said, whoever asks shall receive, what are we doing? What are we doing? Why does prayer get a little footnote at the end of the sermon? Well, we got it 5 minutes. Let's try to squeeze it in. What is that? Ask him and you shall receive. Ear is not heard, eye is not seen, neither has it entered into the heart of man. The what? The good things the Lord has for those who love him. He cannot fail. God cannot fail. Have you ever thought about that? He says, try me, test me in this. You cannot fail when I am with you. God cannot fail the prayers of his people. And this might be a good time to remind you that prayer is not one of many weapons. It is the weapon. The weapon of our warfare is not carnal. It's what? It's mighty through God for the pulling down of strongholds. I got a little excited. I'm just going to tell you up front. I looked up pull down in the Greek. It means to demolish, to destroy, hold on, to hunt down and to overcome. Wait a minute. The devil's after me. No, did you realize? No, when you pull down, you're after him. He is running from you. It just says it right here. Hunt down. We are called to hunt down the enemy. Oh, you're coming after my family? Guess what? Hot shot. Not on my watch. I'm going to hunt you down. I'm going to annihilate you. I'm going to overcome. How are you going to do that? I'm going to get on my face before Almighty God, and I'm going to pray until he hears. That's what I'm going to do. I told you I came in my preaching clothes today. I just could not believe it. I almost just had to run at 3 a.m. Hunt down, hunt down. Do you see that? Pull down strongholds. I'm going to hunt you down. Maybe it's me, but you walk around like, devil's after me. He's going to get me. He's hunting me. He's hunting me. He's hunting my kids. What are we going to do? Oh. When you're filled with the Spirit of God and Christ is on your side, prayer is your weapon. He runs for cover. He hates worship. He hates prayer. God's not in heaven saying, let's make a deal. He's saying, this is the deal. If my people humble themselves and pray and seek my face. See, fear used to grip God's enemies. Just reading the Old Testament, fear used to grip God's enemies. Is that the children of God? Do you know what they did to Pharaoh? Do you know what they did to the Egyptians? Is that the children of God? Joshua comes in the city. Are you God's people? Gideon's about ready to overthrow an army. The sword of Gideon, it's nothing but the sword. They feared God's people. Now it's the opposite. We walk in that fear. Think, just a mind-blowing concept. ISIS, North Korea, they don't even control their next breath. God, Daniel says, the God who holds your very breath in the palm of his hands and owns all your ways, you have not glorified. And Daniel rebuked the king. So what reverses all of this? Returning to God. Returning to God and worshiping.